why I changed the name from Over 40 Females to What Women Want, because we had younger women coming to our meetings and saying, you guys inspire us so much, but we feel like the title is leaving us out. I actually had a couple of women ask me if they could start under 40 females.
That's funny.
And they were like, what can we do here? So I had a podcast that became very successful right out of the gate. Within 6 months, it was getting 30,000 downloads a month. So it was once a week. So it was almost 10,000 downloads a week. Amazing. Yeah. And that was back, I started that 5 years ago.
And that's prior to podcast being such a big deal.
Exactly. So. And no one had a podcast, and I wasn't really marketing it because I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. I just opened it as a benefit to the members of What Women Want. And so I thought, let's change the name of the company then to What Women Want and be the same all across the board. Because here I was with my TV career that was blossoming, and Over 40 Females, Judy Goss Inc., we got Over 40 Females, and then we have What Women Want podcast over here. And I was like, I can't keep track of anything anymore. So I really blended the podcast in with the company and leveraged my TV career also with that. And at one point we had 26 chapters around the country. And, we've opened, the company itself has opened about 47 throughout the years, all around the country, from California, Texas, everywhere, yeah. But a few years ago, we pivoted and we, realized our first vision, and I'm saying our because my best friend joined me in the company she was at my first event in April 2010 before the company was even a company, but she joined me in 2011. And, we just thought to ourselves, we really opened this company to get women all together from all around the world, all different types of backgrounds and cultures and industries. So we need to try to go back to that and try to make that happen. And that's when the national conference idea came about. That we first started 3 years ago.
That's amazing that it turned into that, actually. That's great.
Thank you.
So it's so funny as you talk about all these things, like there's like definitely common threads through the jobs. It seems like, there's a fashion related component, there's a empowerment kind of a thing, there's there's some underlying thing that kind of kept you moving through that path. I don't know, if you felt like there was something that kind of guided you through there, or what your skill was that was a common skill set.
Well, definitely my belief in God took me through my spirituality. Because, I'm glossing over some of the details. When the stock market crashed, my family's company, my husband's business went bankrupt. And we had 2 4-year-olds at the house, that didn't get any Christmas presents one year. And it was just such a horrifying thing. So I'm kind of glossing over some of the details. But really what held me through, besides God, was my husband. He's just always been so supportive, in whatever I do. I'm very lucky to have a best friend like that. That's always, every time I'm Gemini, so I'm a little nuts. And then I changed, I want to be an entrepreneur today, and I want to be a TV host tomorrow, and I want to be an author, and every time I had a new idea, he just always is hanging in there for me and supporting it. Whether he truly believes I can do it or not, sometimes he'll say, well, I just kind of knew that wasn't for you, or whatever it was.
Right.
But he just always, wants me to have the best life I can. So I've been very lucky with that.
That's great to have a stable person like that in your life. Because I think,
totally.
Yes, as an entrepreneur, you're trying everything. You don't know what's going to work, what's not going to work, to your point, So you got to just kind of,
and you have to be able to pivot
and believe in pivot. Exactly.
Ooh,
there's a lot of components that make it something successful. Sometimes it's timing, luck.
Yeah.
Could be a great idea. Who knows? So, but it's really interesting. What do you think brought you in terms of bringing that woman's, what women want? You said that you wanted to kind of come out of your other businesses that you were doing. What was the thing that really brought you to want to create that event?
Well, I was going through my own issues, having my own issues with the stock market crash and everything that was happening around us. And, when I was with More Magazine, I was traveling all around the country. I became their media spokesperson, and I got to travel all around the country, meeting hundreds and hundreds of women. And I realized, what was holding a lot of us up was that female connection and that inspiration and the elevation that we get out of being with each other. I mean, you and I felt it when we first met. I was like, oh my gosh, I love this girl. And it's just some of those special people that help you and take you through and make you feel good, whether it's a casual friend or it's someone that you see at a networking event every month. And I just felt like I kept in touch with a lot of the women around the country that I saw. They had a modeling contest where they got about 20,000 applicants a year, every year. More magazine, I can't remember what they called it. The reinvention convention was one thing, and then they also had a model search. And it was about the stories behind the faces. It wasn't just about the faces. Yeah. So I went around the country to the open calls, and that was another way where I was meeting all kinds of women. And after I got laid off, he was very friendly. The editor-in-chief 1 year later hired me to be their red carpet host for their National Reinvention Convention, where I interviewed Laura Bush. So don't ever burn your bridges, because you never know what's going to happen. I interviewed her on the red carpet, and I was like, hey, Leslie. But she had final approval, so she knew it was me. But so, it was a very friendly layoff. So I figured out that, keeping in touch with these women after I got laid off and I didn't have a place to go all of a sudden, I didn't have that security. I wanted to make a place where we could all come together on our own, of our own doing, and a place where we could all meet and feel safe to say what we dream about and what we want. And maybe, I've seen people in the crowd, give people jobs, collaborate with businesses. Yeah. We've had just all sorts of magic happen. They've gotten booked on TV programs, which weren't all mine. That we've had press show up and put women in the press. So it's been an interesting, rolling it out has been interesting to see what the women get out of it and how they can become successful.
I think that female dynamic is so different. Like we call those like networking sessions. That's kind of not the right word, because women just work so differently in that environment, and they want to share.
Well, that's one of the things that happened.
Right?
You nailed it, because I was going to networking events and people were handing me their business card and trying to sell me stuff, and I thought, there's got to be something else that we're about, how we can help each other instead of just trying to, sell each other.
Right. We immediately start to think of ideas and craft things in our head. I think once you kind of see somebody and what they do, like your head is already rolling like a million steps ahead. Like, what could this be, sort of, So I think that's what's really fun about those events, just the different types of women. And sometimes you find somebody that, can help be the other half or quarter of what you need with your business, right?
Totally.
Like you're like, I am not good at that. That person is really good at that. So I think that's what's pretty awesome about it.
Definitely.
La vida nueva comenzó, la vida nueva.